Have you ever woken up knowing that you have a lot of things to do that day, and it starts to overwhelm you? This is a normal reaction to having a lot to do. There's nothing wrong with this feeling, but you can go wrong with your reaction. The wrong reaction in this situation, and the main topic of this video, is that you pull out your phone and you start scrolling. You see, these things that overwhelm us all have one thing in common. It is that they are all delayed gratification tasks. You do not immediately get dopamine from doing these tasks. The dopamine comes in either when you're finished, or when you see the results, or sometimes a mixture of both. When you work out, you get a nice feeling when you're done, because you've achieved that thing for the day. But it doesn't last very long, which is fine because you can do other things in your day to truly feel accomplished, but the main satisfaction comes when you find out that your body looks better because you've been working out consistently. Scrolling does not follow this same rule. Not only does scrolling not give you the sense of achievement that working out does, you actually feel more empty, because you keep consuming content that has absolutely zero payoff. 95%, if not more, of TikToks you see have no lesson to be learned, no greater value, or anything of the sort. This would be fine if you were able to pull up TikTok and watch 5 to 10 minutes worth, but the way they program the algorithm makes it so you can scroll for pretty much your entire day. And I don't want to make people feel attacked while making this video. I will be open and transparent by saying that I had 3 hours just the day I recorded this script. I have felt out of control of my day, and it's because of this scrolling. I feel like a spectator in my own life, like a slave to my urges and desires, and the worst thing is, I'm aware of this, and most days are not like this one. I will get to the end of my day and feel disappointed that I couldn't break through even though I knew it was happening. I think as humans in the modern day, we tend to crave control over everything. Most of us have little to no control over what we do. We wake up, we go to work for 8 hours with no autonomy, being told what to do. Then on the way home, we stop at one of the few places that's actually open to grab something quick to eat. Then when you get home, instead of working out, you decide to open Reels and scroll for a little bit first. Nothing harmful, but then one of two things happens. You scroll for a bit and lose motivation, or you scroll too long and don't have time anymore. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not an attack on anybody. This has happened to me and most other people in my generation. So, Wisteria, how do we solve this problem? The answer is to get angry. But it needs to be a specific type of anger. Not the reactive, screaming, yelling, and lashing out type of anger, but the I'm finally fed up and have had enough type anger. It should make you angry to check your screen time and see a lot of time accrued on short form apps. It should make you angry that these companies are taking advantage of your attention span and your well-being for just a little bit of extra profit. It should make you angry that your dreams are locked behind your faulty attention span. This is not a self-hate type of anger, but it should be able to make you think twice about opening up that app and actually make a change. With the commodity of everything raising, negative emotions have started to be seen as inherently bad. But if we were speaking logically, the brain has evolved to be as efficient as possible and as helpful to our survival as possible. Which is a whole different video topic that I could go very in-depth on. But to stick to a very short explanation, the human brain is extremely negatively biased. Seeing something bad happen to somebody after they had eaten something, and keeping that as a memory so we don't repeat the same thing, used to be key to our survival. Now that we have most of the knowledge that the world has ever gathered in the palm of our hand, we could just look it up if it's safe to eat or not. But our brains have not had time to catch up yet, so we are still very negatively biased. But there are still helpful uses for this feature today. Negative emotions or thoughts can be an even greater motivator than positive ones for some people. Is this the healthiest option? Well, no, but it is a fact that some people will accomplish their goals after they start to feel a negative emotion about not succeeding or whatever it may be. So use your negative emotions to your advantage. I read a book last year called Psychology Paradoxes by Christian Jarrett and Joanna Ginsberg. One of the key takeaways that I got from this book is that we can control our emotions and how we act a lot easier than we think. In the book, it says that strong visceral emotions only last around 5 minutes. This is why the 5-minute method is so popular and it works. For those who do not know what the 5-minute method is, it is the act of telling yourself you will only do something for 5 minutes when you don't want to do it, and if you don't feel like doing it after the end of the 5 minutes, take a break and come back later. But if you do feel like continuing, then you have every right to do so. But with emotions, in typical circumstances only lasting around 5 minutes, if you start to take an active seat in your life, and when you feel an emotion, processing it for just 5 minutes and working through it, you are able to control how you feel very easily. You will start to notice other people not being able to do so as well. I'm sure we've all met somebody who is extremely reactive almost all the time. I'm not talking about people who, when in certain circumstances, tend to be more reactive than other times. I mean somebody who quite literally is only reactive with their emotions. They have no thought process behind it at all. Something bad happens and they're immediately upset, and even though they might not be the angriest or saddest person in the room, it sure seems like it because they portray it very well. And you'll start to notice this more if you start trying to control your own emotion. And I wouldn't go around telling everybody that they aren't good at controlling their emotion, because what I've learned is that giving advice is really best only when prompted. So moving back to the main topic, what do we do for these 5 minutes that we are processing? A lot of people attempt to shame themselves for feeling any negative emotion because somebody out there has it worse than you. And while this is true, someone does have it worse than you, and this method does work for some people, the way you do it should be a little bit different. You shouldn't be shaming yourself. It should be more of a grateful feeling that your biggest concern is that your coworker spilled their coffee and it got on your shoe, and not that your life is in danger. But what I like to do is rip straight out of Avatar: The Last Airbender. In Avatar, there's a higher form of bending that firebenders can do called lightning bending. It's a very dangerous style of bending because obviously shooting lightning at somebody can be very lethal, but something that the character Zuko does that shows his character development is learn how to redirect the lightning when it comes at him. His uncle Iroh teaches him that if you fail to redirect the lightning, then you take all of the impact, which is akin to taking all of your emotions in and not redirecting them and bottling them up. But towards the end of the series, when Zuko's emotions are at an all-time high in front of his father because of what he has done to him, he has to face a metaphorical version of all this emotion when his father shoots lightning at him. Zuko remembers what his uncle taught him, and he takes the lightning, redirects it, and shoots it out the other arm. In a metaphorical sense, this is what I do with my emotions when I'm feeling bad. I don't try to reject them, I let myself feel them, and I imagine them passing through my chest, which is where I feel them the strongest. I process them, and when I feel that they've been sufficiently processed, I let it pass through the other arm and let go of everything holding me down. This is only one mental visualization, but this method has worked for me, and I've noticed that I've had a lot more control of my emotions when I do this. I think a lot of discomfort in our lives that leads to this detrimental scrolling is when we have uncertainty or anxiety about something new coming up in our lives. I tend to be more of an introvert, so when I go hang out outside of the house, I tend to get very anxious. So before I go out, instead of getting things done, I just sit there in sort of a waiting mode where I'm not capable of doing anything of importance. As for a specific time, at the time of writing this script, tomorrow is my last day of my job. I'm leaving so that I can pursue this channel full time for now. I'm very blessed to have this opportunity, but this opportunity also comes with a lot of uncertainty. Chasing your dreams usually takes a risk, and there's a chance that I work and I don't succeed. This is causing a lot of anxiety and discomfort in my life because I have no clue what the 6 months coming up are going to look like. If I could peek into the future and see that 6 months from now there's the chance that my YouTube is popping off and I've learned how to edit very well and somehow I got a girlfriend. But there's also a chance I still have my head down grinding with no results. And as much as uncertainty led to a lot of discomfort at first, I realized that I was thinking through these options, and even subconsciously I didn't even consider quitting an option. And the number one lesson of this channel is that you can't fail if you don't give up. So to summarize this video, you need to have a decent grasp of your emotions to accomplish your dreams. Notice how I didn't say you need perfect control of your emotions because no one has that. But being able to do what is required of you, even when your emotions don't agree with you doing so, which is also known as discipline, is the ultimate skill you need to overcome scrolling in the case of this video, but anything. You don't have to delete the apps and never watch short-form content again, but you could probably use the screen time limiter if that works for you. It doesn't work for me personally, I just swipe up and scroll it away. But what works for me is scheduling out the time that I will work on things and only allowing myself to scroll on the times where there's nothing scheduled. If you have made it this far in the video, I want to give you a big thank you. This dream of mine can only be accomplished if people like you consume my content. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you liked or subscribed and or left a comment if you have anything to say. With all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and as always, God bless.